Hey, everybody. Welcome to Crossroads Sports Podcast, episode number 28. It's been a while, but I'm back. At least the guys will be back soon themselves at another time. But we're back. We're going to get back in the swing of things. We've got a lot of sports going on recently with NBA. College basketball is ramping up towards tournament time. We've got the NFL draft coming up. Selection Sunday, less than a month away. Our 1 year anniversary of Crossroads Sports coming to life from Reef's Take. So a lot to look forward to in the future. We'll get back in the swing of things. This Facebook Live video, plus as well the podcast will be on iTunes shortly later on this afternoon. Starting off, college basketball. Big weekend in college basketball. A lot of teams lately have been get to the top and then random losses, whether it be Villanova with losing to St. John's, Duke losing games, Purdue losing 3 straight, which we'll get to here in a little bit. A lot of moving and shaking. The new AP Top 25 came out earlier this morning. Virginia, as we expected, would be the number 1 team overall. Villanova still up there at the top of where they're at. It's interesting to see where some of these teams are falling in. Duke, Michigan State, the number 2 team ranked overall, but not getting the love in the brackets. Their RPI is not too good. They played a weak non-conference schedule, but they're ranked overall as number 2nd. So it's interesting to see where they're going to fall in the seed lines. Quick, I'll show you kind of where my top seeds are, top 4 seeds for each region, where I've got currently right now. If you see here, take a look at it. I got Virginia in the South, Kansas, the number 1 seed in the West, Villanova in the East, and Xavier up in number 1 in the Midwest. Virginia as the number 1 seed overall. With there, Auburn did lose a tough game this weekend. They are still a number 2 seed. Michigan State, I've moved Michigan State up to a number 2 seed after their play of beating Purdue. They had a hell of a scare last night, or Saturday night. Was it Saturday? No, Sunday against Northwestern. But they did come back and win. Duke still number 2 seed. And the Purdue Boilermakers still hanging on. They had a win last night against Penn State. But they are still number 2 seed in the Midwest. Texas Tech and Carolina, both of them still at the 3. Cincinnati did lose. I almost dropped them to a 4 and moved Arizona up. But I'm going to keep Cincinnati there this week. And then Clemson is 3. And then your 4 seeds rounding out. Wichita State did get a big win this weekend over Cincinnati. So, and if you look at here at these brackets, I think this is a perfect draw for Purdue. They don't have the stress level and the notoriety of being that number 1 seed. Go ahead and give that to Xavier. With Clemson being on their bottom half of that bracket, and I feel like they are a better team than Clemson, even if you look at their resumes, that's an easy trip for Purdue and route for them to get to that Elite 8 and then possibly playing Xavier for the Final Four. So Boilermaker fans and sports fans in general, Purdue, I think, has an easy road, I guess, to the Elite 8 and Final Four if they stayed at the 2 seed in the Midwest with Xavier as the 1. If you look at the other number 1 seeds with Villanova and Kansas and even Virginia, I think that's a tougher task for Purdue if they were a 2 seed there. So if things can hold tight for the Boilermakers there, then they would have a good shot at making the Elite 8 or Final Four. Obviously, they have to get things together. They've had a rough last week, but things to come. Romeo Langford, he was at a news article in the Tennessean this past weekend that said that things are looking bright for Vanderbilt. And he went down to a game this past weekend down in Vanderbilt, had a heck of a time. He actually got quoted and said that he would like to play with a lot of star players. If you look at Vanderbilt's recruiting class, they do have a lot of star players coming in there. And a couple of them he's played AAU ball with. So I think it gets stronger for him to go to Vanderbilt than IU, unfortunately. Corey White, I told you that he would be going to Vanderbilt. He's expected to make his announcement before the All-American game, which is in, I believe, the middle of late March. So by March 23rd, 24th, he should make it known. But if you had to ask me, I think he's going to Vanderbilt. I think IU is actually number 3 on his list of where he's going to go. Speaking of the Hoosiers, currently sitting at 16-12 overall, 9-7 in the Big Ten, 7th there in the Big Ten. This week they've got at Nebraska and then versus Ohio State. Nebraska is not looking too bad. I think they get beat by Nebraska at Nebraska, and then they finish with a win against Ohio State, which would be huge. So I think the Hoosiers go 1-1 in this. 16-12 currently right now. I don't. Obviously, they're not going to make the NCAA tournament. They don't have the resume for it themselves, and the win losses. They would have to win the Big Ten tournament, but NIT bound possibly for the Hoosiers. So we'll see what happens there. The Boilermakers came in number 9th ranked now in the latest AP poll. 24-5, 13-3 overall. They lost 3 straight games before winning last night against Penn State. A tough loss to Ohio State at home. I was there for that one. Last second shot. Then at Michigan State on that Saturday, Miles Bridges hits that long distance 3. Another loss, and then they just crapped the bed at Wisconsin. Big problems there. Unfortunately, the offense couldn't get going, and they got in Wisconsin's game style. It was a very low-scoring game. And then last night, even without Vince Edwards, who was out with severe sprained ankle, not sure how long he's going to be out. Some of the players needed to step up. Isaac Haas, but Carson Edwards took the load there. Battled back. Dakota Mathias had some big shots, but some of these seniors for Purdue needs to step up and start shooting the ball more, scoring more. P.J. Thompson, senior point guard, has maybe scored 2 points in the last 3 games. I'm seeing zeros in the box scores for P.J. Thompson. He definitely needs to step up. Isaac Haas has got the roller coaster of his season and how he's doing. So the Boilermakers themselves are kind of in an identity crisis right now. What team are we going to expect from them going into the NCAA tournament? Even the Big Ten tournament, I think it's a Big Ten tournament. It's a great test for them. If we sit there and take a look right now at the Big Ten tournament, where everything's kind of sitting right now, Michigan State is that number 1 seed currently right now. Ohio State's the 2, even though they're tied with Purdue based on the tiebreaker. Boilermakers falling at number 3 seed. If you do look at that, interesting matchup there in that 3rd round possibly, where the winner of Minnesota and Iowa will take on the Hoosiers. And then possibly do we get a Purdue-IU matchup there in that Friday round for Purdue and IU? Michigan State, obviously, if you take a look at this bracket, obviously we have each team has about 2 to 3 games left this week. So, but the Big Ten tournament will be starting here in less than a week. So a week and 2 days from now, the Big Ten tournament will start. Reason why it's starting earlier is because it is in New York City, Madison Square Garden, and they have to get this tournament done before they start the Big East tournament. So actually, Big Ten will have a whole week off of rest. So not sure how that's going to play for them, but overall, it could be interesting Big Ten tournament. I think it's a great opportunity for Purdue to practice themselves, the atmosphere they're going to expect in the NCAA tournament. Hopefully, they do better than they've done in the past in those tournaments. Switching gears, Daytona 500. Yesterday, Austin Dillon winning in the 3-car, 20 years to the year that Dale Earnhardt Sr. drove the same number 3 car to victory lane. Little bit of controversy when he wrecked Eric Almendola in turn 3 of it on the final lap. The basis mantra of what the Daytona 500 this one was a lot of blocking and a lot of wrecking. Going to cover your big crashes. Some of the big names went out early. Jimmy Johnson, Chase Elliott, who was had probably the fastest car, along with Ryan Blaney, who also crashed, and Danica. So long in your final NASCAR race you did, but NASCAR has pretty much turned into blocking, and crash. So I don't know, interesting storyline that Austin Dillon got the win, but DraftKings, I won 2 events this weekend with DraftKings with NASCAR, trying it out for the first time. So they've got me hooked doing it weekly with DraftKings. So if you owe any easy money on DraftKings, go to NASCAR. Just pick 6 drivers. I went from bottom of the pack to 5th place overall. So perfect there. NBA AllStar Game last night. I actually enjoyed this game. I didn't know what to expect. I was only going to watch the first quarter, but it reeled me in. I enjoyed it. Team LeBron wins 148-145 over Team Steph. LeBron got his 3rd MVP award, 29 points, 10 rebounds. Oladipo, Indiana boy, right here, 7 points, 2 rebounds, 3 assists. not bad. He did shoot a lot of threes. Didn't make as many as what he was supposed to be. It was a competitive game. I think it was a matter of the fact that the players got an extra $100,000 if they won. I know it's chump change to them, but hey, an extra $100,000. The NBA needed to do something like that because after what happened last year with a 190-some to 180-some score, no defense being played. Yes, there wasn't a lot of defense being played in this game, but there at least was some. You could tell the players were involved in it. They were actually excited the way things were going. And the fact that I'm going to applaud Adam Silver and the players because they got together before the game and said, this has got to end before the All-Star game just goes to crap, which was already heading that way. So the fact that they played it, they were competitive, it was a close game, awesome job. The only thing I hated about that whole NBA All-Star weekend, and I think a lot of you will agree with me, is Fergie's god-awful rendition of the national anthem, which was a travesty. Myself and producer Aaron and one of our friends, Bendro, was here watching it, and my God, was the worst performance I've ever seen. Now, this is nothing new for the NBA to see with her. She's had terrible performances before. If you look back on Twitter, she did it in 2009, 2010, 2012, and 14 in different sporting events, and Twitter blew up how bad she was. So I don't know why they thought it'd be a good rendition. Hell, I enjoy the Canadian national anthem more than the United States. That anthem there made Roseanne Barr's back during the Super Bowl look fantastic. So if I had to pick one thing I hated about the night, it was probably that. Kevin Hart doing his intros, a little long. His joke about Oladipo being mixed up with T-Pain, didn't really understand that too much. But overall, Fergie, terrible, terrible job. Don't ever do it again. So NBA, take note. Some of the quick hitters. Paul George over the weekend, he did give Oladipo a strong endorsement. Said he would choose him to play with because he's really, 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 really good. Well, guess what? You're not going to play with Oladipo, and you showed your ass even on the horrible three-point contest that you did this weekend. 4 points all the way through to the final rack, and then you finally salvaged a little bit, hit all 5 shots on the final rack. But Paul George still a little sour with people here in Indianapolis, including myself. PG did also say that he knows what he wants to do this summer, but he gave no hints at it. Russ Westbrook said he's staying in Oklahoma City. There's no questions. PG did end it by saying that he knows what he feels best. So take it with you wish, whether it's going to be LA or Oklahoma City. If I had to guess, I still think it's going to be LA. But you never know what Russ Westbrook can do. And old man Carmelo Anthony, maybe he can keep him there. But we'll see. Looking at overall for All-Star Saturday night, I thought it was It wasn't the greatest, but it also wasn't the worst thing I've ever seen. The skills challenge was okay. The three-point competition, Devin Booker setting a career record in the finals with 28 points. I thought that was pretty cool to see. Dunk contest sucked, put it simple. Very simple dunks, nothing too dazzling, but Donovan Mitchell, who I thought would win it, did very well. Depot, unfortunately, I think missed his 3 first dunks, and that put him out of the competition immediately. So probably should have done something simple after he missed it the first 2. But overall, All-Star Saturday, it was all right. I've seen a lot of people complain about it. Yeah, Chad, maybe Roseanne was a World Series game. Maybe, I'm not too sure, but I just know she was terrible at it. But she, looked a lot better than what old girl did, Fergie, at the All-Star game. So looking at the Pacers here, 33-25 currently, 5 seed in the East, 1 game back from the 4 seed. My personal opinion, I had the Pacers early in the season at 33 wins total. So they've exceeded my expectations for this season. They've got 24 games left here before the end of the season. Where do they finish? They've already beat my preseason total, like I said. I think they're going to finish 45-37. And I think they'll still say 5th in the East. For them to go 45-37 in these final 24 games, they got to go 12-12. They got to go 500 for these final 12 games or 24 games, and they'll have 45 wins, which I think is the fan base will be very happy with, especially being a 5 seed. with those 24 games left, 3 of those are against the Atlanta Hawks, who are the worst team in the NBA in the Eastern Conference. So with 3 games against there's 3 wins. Only 9 more to go. They do have Golden State. They got to play twice. They've got a lot of tough games ahead on the road. They've got Milwaukee still to play. Several teams out west. But for them to go 45-37, they just got to win half their games. So if they go 12-12, they've got I think they have a pretty easy schedule going into this second half. And I think with this team gelling more and more, if they can stay away from the injuries, Glenn Robinson, the third, will be back soon. So mixing him in with it, I think the Pacers got a shot even at 45 to maybe 48, 49 wins this season. So right now, 24 games left. We'll see what they do with it. JJ Redick. I won't go into this too much, but JJ Redick got called out for a Chinese Happy New Year video that the NBA did that got a little tongue-tied. Maybe not have said a racial slur, but I do not believe he meant to do it. I won't say it because I don't want to have to deal with repercussions myself, but I think he got a little tongue-tied. I don't think he deliberately went out and said it. The fact that the NBA released a video with him saying it, I don't think they even realized that it was going to be a big deal. Jeremy Lin's even came out and said he took no offense to it. The Chinese community shouldn't take offense to it. JJ came out, apologized for what it may have seemed. He put out a Twitter statement about it. So I don't think, why would he have career suicide doing that? So back off of JJ Redick. He did. The words got tongue-tied. NBA shouldn't even have used it to begin with. So, like I said, we said earlier with the NCAA, we're coming up on Selection Sunday, folks. And Crossroads Sports, where we made our debut, we're going to be doing another selection show Sunday, March 11th, around 6:45 p.m. to 7 p.m. on Facebook Live. We'll have the guys. We'll be doing our show from there, giving our selections, how we thought the bracket played out, who we have, our perfect bracket, and we'll do on that road to the Final Four, just like the rest of you guys. But we'll have our second annual show. We'll kind of celebrate our 1-year anniversary as well, and go from there. But it should be an interesting March Madness, as it always is, and definitely looking forward to seeing who cuts down the nets down in San Antonio this fall or this spring. With the NCAA special, actually, one new thing we're going to do this year is we're actually going to have a new bracket challenge, Crossroads Sports Bracket Challenge. More details to come on this, but we're going to do a $20 entry fee for anybody. It's going to be created on ESPN, $20 entry fee. Once you've paid through PayPal to the email address we're going to provide, the info for the league ID and the password will be sent to you, and then you can go in and make your brackets. Obviously, you'll have until Thursday at noon of the first games to get your brackets in for the bracket challenge, but more details to come on this. We haven't decided yet how we're going to do it, if we're going to pay out just for first place or first, second, and third. We'll get more information on this as we get closer to it, but looking forward to that. That means you make some more money, do some bragging rights, and such. Other than that, folks, we're just going to do a quick short podcast. I want to get something out there because it's been so long, but be sure to follow us on our Facebook page that you're watching us on, and also follow our podcast on iTunes and also our Twitter accounts. So looking forward to talking to you guys soon, and we'll get another show out probably next week, getting closer to the Big Ten tournament in March Madness. So take care, everybody. Peace.